Yokoso, 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 arigato gozaimasu, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, one and all. Yes, 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 people. It is episode 88 of the Stadia Monday Night Chat with, of course, your host, thank you, Clive Illenden, that's me. Yes, here as ever to inform, educate, entertain you on all things Stadia. What a week we've had. Obviously, it was a pro week last week. More games. So what a show we've got. Don't forget, before I do, hit the likes. For those in the chat already, hit the likes. Don't forget, here's your reminder. Hit the likes because I like it. YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find content like this. And if you are new here, as they say, what's that little love heart? Oh, little love heart. Love you guys. Hit the subscribe button, why don't you? Toggle that notification bell so you know when I go live with content like this, ladies and gentlemen, with content like this. I hope you are all good and welcome. Good and welcome. I hope you are all good, comma, and welcome. Welcome to the show and all of that. Good to see people in the chat already. Don't forget, avail yourself of the chat. Say hello to everybody. Let me know what games you've been playing. As I mentioned, the Stadia Pro games were launched obviously last week. What Stadia Pro games have caught your fancy last week? What games are you playing? Are you playing the Stadia Pro games? Or maybe you're playing some of the new games that got released. Or maybe you're just playing some old classics. The choices. You've got so many choices. But let me know, whatever you've been doing, let me know in the chat. Talking of which, ladies and gentlemen, as ever, let's say hello to those people in the Stadia Monday Night Chat mosh pit. Yeah, those at the front of the stage, ready to catch me when I stage dive upon them. It's all right. I'm a light frame. Yeah, the early birds here catching the live chat worms, as it were. Let's say hello to you lot and see what you've been playing, see what you've been doing, see what you got to say before we kick off with the show. Victor's in the house. Lovely to see you, Victor, as ever. Always a keen supporter. Mustar, hello. Playing Control, trying to play all the games. It's hard. Stadia's throwing so many games at me. I know. Tell me about it. Preston, hello, sir. Ray is driving and listening. Yes, it's sure. Hey, if you're driving there, watch the downtown lanes there, the downtown roads, junction 35. It's busy. I was going to do old state travel news then. Anyway, yeah. Drive time. It's your drive time radio here. Let's rock. There we are for those in the car. Yeah, the old Clive and Drive. Sednar, lovely to see you. Randy B, Sir Clive, thank you. Geek the Sneak, Windstar, Stelios, hello Stelios, I hope the fish are okay. Dave, lovely to see you. The wonderful Inled, Mr. Graphics, Data and Graphics, always good to see. Jerome, super. Christopher, always listening, Christopher. Mr. Bayram, hey, how are you, sir? Soul Home Studio, lovely. Have you not seen these spectacles before? Soul Home Studio. I got them in summer. Yeah, loving them. My media specs, yeah, because I'm in the media. Yeah, I'm in the media. Oh no. Dave's been playing Judgment, Chorus, and Wreckfest. Rainbow Six Siege, of course, we had a free weekend. More on that later. Red Dead Redemption 2. Cyberpunk. Must go back to Cyberpunk. Oh, my God. Preston's on the Hitman 3. Yeah, I was tempted to get that in the sale, but I've got such a backlog of stuff. Then I'd have all three. Dead by Daylight, says Torres. Young Souls and Outriders. Good one. Wreckfest and FIFA. Been playing FIFA, of course. Chorus, looking forward to trying that. Yes, indeed. Outriders and Phoenix Point. There's one from the left field there. Play Cloud, lovely to see you. What's up? Balls for life. Anyway, what have I been playing? I hear you ask. What have you been playing, Clive? Well, let me tell you. Of the pro games, only really Wreckfest I dipped into. Great game. I haven't done any multiplayer, but I do love the sort of mechanics. I love it when you get to the end of a race and literally your whole rear end has gone. Like literally, it's just like the front wheels and the front of the car. I do love that. It's pretty crazy. So it's a great game and a great addition to Stadia. That's great to see. But yeah, I mean, I realize I've got such a backlog of pro games that I really want to play from previous months. I haven't even started playing Control. I was so looking forward to playing Control. I've had so many other distractions when it comes to games on Stadia that I haven't even got round to it. I've got to go back. So those pro months from previous months are just piling up like nobody's business. I already played Foreclosure or Foreclosure, whatever it's called. Foreclosed. Yeah, I've already played that. So that was the other one of the pro titles. So obviously FIFA with my son, Wreckfest. Trying to think if there's anything else that I dived into or had a look at. Oh, and Rayman. Oh yeah, that was the other pro game. No, that was an Ubisoft title. Yeah, so Rayman Legends. Been continuing to play that. So there we go. Not bad. Yeah. Chorus. I played Chorus. I'll come to that a bit more. I thought I'd take a look at it. I'm not a big fan of flying games, but wow. It's really easy to get hold of. I think Lloyd from Nerdnest described it as sort of a first-person shooter like a flying game, but in a first-person shooter style. So it's like, i.e., what he's saying is it's easy to control. You haven't got the kind of reverse controls which do my brain in. Yeah, it plays really well. The targeting is very easy. For someone who doesn't like flying games, I was really loving that. So great addition to Stadia, as I say. Anyway, shall we crack on with the news, people? Yeah, just have a quick brief look at the news. Of course, starting with the blog, it's a good place to start. Why not? Why wouldn't we want to start with the blog? So not only did we have the pro games last week arrive, and we're coming into December, we've had the 2-year anniversary and all of that. Stadia ain't letting up. Oh no, they're not stopping, right? Nobody saw Jackbox Party Pack 7 coming, That was a swerve ball, wasn't it? A curve ball. Yeah, we've got Jackbox Party 8, usually goes up. But no, they're bringing Jackbox Party 7. So nobody saw that coming, which is kind of cool. Perfect for Christmas. These sort of party games, get everyone round, get everyone involved. Just you just need your Stadia and your phone, and all sit around the TV and have fun. Great games. I have not played the Jackbox Party games. I was going to play it with my kids. They wanted to play a game like that. We ended up playing a mobile game, which is sort of similar, where you use your mobile phone, but you can play it on the screen or get someone to log onto the computer and you'll see everybody's sort of interaction, that sort of thing, party games. So that's really cool. And what was really exciting here is this Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. Very exciting. So that was announced last week. Let me just go here. Yeah, so Dynasty Warriors 9 Empire, announced from Koei, who previously bought us Attack on Titan. Remember, that was one of the first games on Stadia. It was about 50 quid, I remember at the time. You've got to be a real fan of Attack on Titan. Has anyone played? I know my daughter used to love that anime, but not enough to play the game. Has anybody played Attack on Titan? One of the first Stadia games. I think they were in the first 20 of those games, a list of 20 games. Anyway, that publisher is also responsible for Dynasty Warriors 9. Now, this is a full-on Japanese game. And I'm curious. So I did have a... Oh, let's just go back to the blog a minute, because I did have... Oh, where's there? Okay, so yeah, so this is I thought I had the Dynasty Warriors Empire 9. Yeah, there we go. Let's find the most 4 days ago. Okay, so this is 4 days ago. This is the PlayStation version, but it'll give you an idea, won't it, what it's all about. I mean, this is a full-on Japanese-style game, you know, full of politics, intrigue, strategy, combat, loads and loads of depth to it in terms of what you could do, loads and loads of creation. I mean, you can customize these characters. I mean, it's set in, I think it's set in China, actually, the politics of China and all that sort of thing. But it's got that real Japanese game style to it, that kind of full customization, level of detail, even the typography, the font that they use for the English translation version is the same sort of font you might see on Final Fantasy or stuff like that, in the English font. But yeah, it looks really, really exciting. Let me know what you think and whether you're excited about this, looking forward to it or anything like that. I mean, I don't know whether it's sort of game you get really, really involved in. I've heard some mixed reviews about Dynasty Warriors, but this is Dynasty Warriors Empire, and apparently this is much better than Dynasty Warriors. But it just looks so much detail in there. I don't know whether I'll like it or it's the sort of game I'll get lost in doing it, with this whole kind of politics system, forming allies and relationships, empire building, all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, let me know if you're looking forward to it, or you're familiar with the genre, or even familiar with the game itself and all that. I mean, I love the whole Japanese voiceover on it. He gets so excited. Empire, so he's so excited when he talks. I was talking to my beautiful Japanese girlfriend about it, and I was saying how the voiceover guy, in that way that they get so excited about it, when you hear Japanese on the ear, it's just really cool. Anyway, very, very exciting. Now, one thing that made me sort of think, what it made me think about is that, I don't know if you remember, in the anniversary announcement that Stadia made, they gave a sort of roadmap. A roadmap, Clive. I want a roadmap. I never saw the roadmap. And then a roadmap. Yeah, they did a sort of roadmap. They laid out, they said that was 2021. We're going to continue doing these things, and some of the things that we will be doing going forward. And one of those things going forward was specifically, they said, expanding all categories of games. So they talked about this specifically in a Reddit post here, and they said, they laid out here, what's next for Stadia? We're eager to continue working on bringing the best games and new features to our community players so they can help build a bright future of cloud gaming. That means, and then here, expanding all categories of game content, not just the games overall, but new types of games we've heard players ask for, including genres like online action games, open world titles, plus free games. Free games. We've talked about this. Trials, free trials and demos that we'll be touching on a bit later. So I'm wondering whether this Dynasty Warriors Empire 9 is an example of, part of this broadening of the types of games. This is a real gamer's game, in that old school kind of, people who love those sort of complex empire building Japanese, with action Japanese type games. So yeah, it just made me think, well, this is them basically putting into action their words. And anybody who watched this channel, anybody who watches this channel, I'm just wondering here, I've got Cult of Stadia there, and it's in bright yellow. I wondered why it was. Well, it's funny you should say that, Cult of Stadia. I like the way you've ostrich out the L, cheeky boy. It's funny you should say that. I would just say watch the space. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just wondering whether Dynasty Warriors is an example of them expanding the genre, the numbers of genre of games that they have on Stadia. As I said, so but let me know, what do you think about games like, Dynasty Warriors 9 Empire, or whatever. And equally, I mean, those two games, Jackbox, Party Game 7 and Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires are like almost game-wise are like diametrically opposed. You couldn't have more varied games if you tried, I reckon, in terms of the spectrum of games. They're so very, very different. Let's get back to the blog post briefly there. Yeah, I mean, two very, very different games, indeed. But great to see that, as I say, following the Stadia anniversary announcement, following December Pro games, they've not taken their foot off the pedal, continuing to make game announcements, last week, and as we'll come to, continuing to make game announcements this week as well. But yeah, definitely let me know in the chat whether that's your sort of game, or whether you're looking forward to it, you're curious, are you Dynasty Warrior curious, and all of that. Yeah, so very, very exciting stuff to see. Okay. They also mentioned, so as I mentioned in that blog post there from the second anniversary, they also mentioned this about trying things like more demos, making it easier to access, purchase, and play games by yourself with your friends. Where was the bit about demos? Oh, yeah, here. Yeah, playing games on Stadia has to be quick and easy to attract new players. Bring Stadia to more devices, easier access. Where's the bit about the demos, having more demos and stuff? Anyway, they talked about that as well, making sure they have free trials and demos. And of course, that's exactly what that's what they gone and did. That's what they gone and did, people. They got more demos and trials. So this weekend, I think it's come to an end now, but of course, this weekend saw Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege free weekend. Now, as we've become familiar with free weekends, they're usually limited to Stadia Pro members. But this was specifically aimed and pushed by Stadia and the marketing as no sign up. No need to sign up for Pro. Not that I know people have a problem signing up for 1 free month of Pro and then, cancelling it. They just want to play the game. And it's about that ease of access, frictionless access. And this was an example. This was a free weekend for all. You just had to click Stadia and it would take you through. All you needed is a Gmail. You didn't have to sign up for the Pro or anything like that. And it would take you through straight to the game, just like that. Obviously, I've got the game, so it takes me straight through. But if I didn't have that, it would take me through to adding in my Gmail, and off you go. And this is something that, you know, those of us many people in the community have been saying, you know, this is what Stadia have got to do. One thing we know about Stadia, we see it anecdotally all the time. You know, people go, oh, I heard all these bad things about Stadia, but I mean, we're seeing it all the time with people, you know, taking advantage of the Premier Edition sale recently. You see it in Reddit, you see it on Twitter. Oh my God, this Stadia, like I've just got a Stadia, and I tell you what, it's pretty good, isn't it? This Stadia is really amazing. I had no idea. And it's like, yeah, get it in front of people. Forget all the noise and the rubbish. The best way to sell Stadia is just to get it in front of people. Yeah, get people to have a go. And what people don't realize is that, you know, as Bill famously said, you've already got Stadia Genius. You don't need to buy a Stadia, you know. Like I said last week, you don't know, I'm saying, I bought myself a Stadia. No, you haven't. You bought yourself a Stadia Premier Edition. You haven't bought yourself a Stadia. You bought yourself a controller and a Chromecast Ultra. Yeah? Well, if you just buy a controller, yeah, I bought myself a Stadia. No, you haven't bought yourself a Stadia. You've just bought yourself a Stadia controller. Yeah? You've already got Stadia. But of course, as long as you put a layer in terms of that access, oh yeah, you can play Stadia, but oh, you got to sign up for Pro for a month. Just give us your credit card details. We won't take any money for a month. You can always cancel it. It like straight away, there's a sort of a barrier to access, you know. But with this free weekend, it was free for all. This is it, and literally, it's a link, and that's one of the most fundamental. Well, it's one of the USPs. Yeah, that Stadia has, that it's literally a link. You click and play. GFN is not a link you can click and play. You have to sort of sign into something on the way, you know, if you're new to it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. You can play that free game. You've got Steam, haven't you? No. You've got Epic account, haven't you? No. You know what I mean? No one has the ability, as I know, in terms of cloud gaming and the big boys, that you literally, it's a click. You know, it's a link. And this is what Phil Harrison said in his interview with Jeff Keighley back in June 2019. It's literally a link. But they've never really pushed that or exploited it. This is what we want to see. And they've said this is specifically was an experiment. So we hope that the experiment proved positive to them. And it worked, and we see it more, not just for, you know, existing Stadia players, but for, you know, to get new people to just see. And what a great game. What a great game to use. Not only is it a fast-paced shooter, not only is it PvP, not only is it a competitive shooter, all the things apparently you can't do on Stadia. Yeah, fast person shoot. Oh, no, it'll never work. Competitive. No, it does. Yeah. And there are plenty of people. I've seen somebody on, I forget his name now. Metal Wolf, I think. It's Metal Wolf if he's in the chat. I don't know. But he's meant to be very, very good at Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah. So but if you were playing PC players, it's not fair. They'd be better to. No. If I was playing PC, I'd be hopeless. So if you were playing on a console or a Nintendo Switch or something like that, you'd still probably, and you were good, you'd probably beat me. So it's not always about the machine that you're playing it on, is it? Sometimes it's about the person who's playing it. So if you're really good at Rainbow Six Siege and you play it on Stadia, you can have a great experience. I'm not particularly good, but I still have a great experience. I still get kills, and that's very satisfying. So it's a great game. It not only looks good, it plays good, it's competitive, it's fast, it's a great advert for Stadia, and it was free to play. So, as I said, they mentioned making it easier to access as part of their strategy going forward. Well, here we are, one of their first early experiments on that, and they said it was an experiment, and they hope to do it more times. Rainbow Six Siege. Let me know whether you played it at all, if you hadn't already played it. But yeah, no sub required, just a Gmail. Boom. boom, off you go. It was that simple. So really great to see, you know, and to see it there amongst, you know, with the other, as I just pointed out there, with the other consoles and PC and everything, and just, yeah, such a great promotional opportunity, not just for Ubisoft, but really for Stadia, to set itself apart and to get people to try Stadia. And as I say, it's really great to see. It's an easy win. This is an easy win for Stadia. Yeah, it just being a link. A real easy link. If they can do the deal with the, you know, the developer or the publisher, just give us a free trial. Talking of that, I mean, I came up with an amazing theory that I shared on my members exclusive content. So I do a weekly Stadia Reddit rant, and I came up with a brilliant idea on how basically I try to do the maths as well, and I think it's affordable. It could work from a marketing point of view, and I'll put it out to you. I wasn't going to put, because it was just for members, but anyway, let's put it out to you. I haven't done the full maths on it, but I did a quick back of an envelope maths calculation. But here's the idea. Would you pay maybe an extra couple of dollars? Yeah, I'm just talking $2 or maybe £2, yeah, for Stadia Pro if it came with Ubisoft Plus? Yeah, so Ubisoft Plus, you got Stadia Pro, and it contained Ubisoft Plus. I calculated it was like maybe $10 million a year cost to Stadia in my head. Very quick calculation. As a combination of marketing, you wouldn't necessarily want to rake that cost back in terms of pro titles, in pro memberships. Well, you would eventually, but it's more of a, you know, part of that $10 million is a sort of marketing spend, you know, a loss leader effectively. But would the value of that be much greater than it is on paper, if that makes sense? Imagine, because then with Stadia Pro, you would be getting some major, given the amount of releases that Ubisoft do, you'll be getting major day and date AAA games arriving day and date free, as you do if you have Ubisoft Plus, but free as part of your Stadia Pro membership. Imagine that. Would that work? Would the maths work? I think the maths might work. Even if it was for a couple of years, it would be a quick win. Yeah, it would blow, or at least be up there with any other subscription service. It would either blow other subscription services out of the water, or at least would be punching its weight up there. I'm putting that out. Phil, call me. Carrie, Google Stadia, call me. I'll put the deal together for you, yeah? I'll do the contract. I'll work with the, you know, I'll work with obviously Google legal department, but my specialism is, you know, contracts. I'll do it. I reckon even if they ran it for a year, 2 years, you know, even if it cost an extra couple of quid, I think that value would be worth it. I don't think so. I pay what in the UK we pay $8.99. So I had to pay $10. So I pay at least $10.99 for Ultimate Game Pass. Yeah. So would I pay £10.99 for Stadia Pro, and Ubisoft Plus was bundled in it? So basically, forget it's called Ubisoft Plus. Basically, you're getting these major titles, not only the back catalogue titles, but you're getting day and days AAA, you know, titles from Ubisoft, all part of that bundle. Yeah. And all Google really have to do is just, not, what's the word now? Anyway, just basically pay Ubisoft for that privilege. An annual amount. Just a theory. It might, the maths might not quite work out, but there we go. But yeah, let me know what you think. I wasn't going to talk about that in this show, but it's just an idea I just thought. If Google wanted to sort of, give a rocket fuel to the whole thing, not only that, I mean, from the news it would create, the ripples in the gaming industry it would create, the attention it would give to Stadia, it would be a real wow moment. Imagine in February, 1 year after the closure of SG&E, they said, okay, folks, Stadia and Ubisoft have joined forces, and now Stadia Pro includes Ubisoft Plus. Wow. People would talk. It would get a dream. So it would get, I've just read pipe dreams there. This is not like me going, oh, it'd be great if they had Mario Kart on Ubisoft Plus, oh, it'd be great if they bought Nintendo. That's a pipe dream. That's an unrealistic pipe dream. Mine is a realistic, potentially realistic business, a bold business proposition rather than a pipe dream, I would say. I doubt it would happen, but I think it's doable. I'd have to look at the maths a bit more and the economics, but a quick calculation in my head, I reckon the economics would be worth it initially. I mean, it's about, if you wanted that quick rocket fuel, you can either build slowly, but if you wanted to sort of jump ahead, yeah. Remember Xbox paid, was it nearly 10 billion or $8 billion, 7.8 billion, was it? $7.8 billion for Bethesda. It would be nowhere near that. It would be nowhere near that cost at all. Anyway, subsidized, that's the word. Google would have to obviously subsidize some of that offset some of that cost to Ubisoft. But I reckon you're talking 10 to 20 million dollars a year. I reckon that's what I reckon would do it. Yeah, because it's guaranteed income. It's a guaranteed income to Ubisoft. There's an upside. Guaranteed income is worth more than unknown income. Yeah, you might get anywhere between 15 or $25 million, but we'll guarantee you $20 million a year. What do you take? Do you gamble anywhere between 15 or 25, or do you get the guaranteed 20 million? So that's that's a decision that you make. Do you money in the hand is worth more than, a bird in the hand is worth more than a bird in the bush. That's what she said. Don't be cheeky. It's not the 70s. Come on. Anyway, sorry, I'm off on one. I didn't mean to talk about this today. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Rainbow Six Siege. That would be part of Pro, imagine. Well, imagine that. There we go. Anyway, maybe it is a bit of a flight of fancy, but I did think about it from a kind of proper business point of view, and I reckon it's doable. Anyway, that was described as a free experiment, that whole Rainbow Six Siege thing, and long may we see it. As I say, this is what I talk about on this channel. Stadia makes statements, and then, this is what we intend to do. You'll start seeing us do X or Y or Z, and then over the year, we start seeing that. Yeah, they start taking actions on those plans. And this is what really inspires me with Stadia. They said we would be looking at extending the number of titles in Pro. We've seen that steady rise. We've never had more games in available in Pro at any one time, and that looks to go up. And part of that is driven by the change in the business model for for developers and publishers who have Pro games. So that's actions that they're acting on their words. And when you see that, that's encouraging. We're going to try and make it easier for developers to bring games to Stadia. More on that later. But they introduce more tools to make that easier, and so on and so on. So this is what inspires me about Stadia. This is what inspires me that there's, Stadia has a future. I mean, I don't doubt that it has a future, but this is the concrete evidence. Yeah. despite all the nonsense that you read. This is the concrete evidence that you actually see. They lay out what they plan to do, and then over the year, it might be slow building, but you see those indications of them putting those plans into place. As I say, students of this show will know this. You follow the breadcrumbs, you follow the signs. Yeah. Somebody said to me, it's like Jack the Slip's data. It's not, we don't just rely on one trend. Yeah. Jack, in his analysis, doesn't rely on one trend and go, oh, look at the Reddit figures, right? The number of Reddit users, they're all up. Therefore, I rest my case. That's it. My job is done here. I go. No, because you can't rely on one set of stats, right? And a certain person, said to me, yeah, well, his stats could be interpreted a different way. Anybody can twist the stats. Well, yeah, they can. Yeah. But when you see a pattern, a reoccurring pattern, then that lends more credence to the theory. Yeah. One set of stats alone in isolation, no. It can be interpreted many ways. But when you see lots of different stats, all sort of indicating the same trends, the same peaks, the same message, there's an underlying direction. And that is undeniable. So yeah, things in isolation can easily be twisted either one way. And that's why you look for other evidence. And that's what Jack does. Shout out to Jack the Slip. When he, presents his sort of stats and stuff, he demonstrates that there is a pattern occurring across different points of Stadia, whether it's the community, whether it's actual games themselves, just indications that all seem to say the same message. Stadia is constantly building and developing, as we know, the tech, the business model, the marketing, the accessibility. We're constantly seeing all these little tweaks, and they're small iterations. They're not massive, but yeah. Anyway, in other news, ladies and gentlemen, Chorus, of course, Chorus landed on the platform. As I mentioned earlier, what a great title. Where is Chorus? I did a first look for Chorus. Here's me. And I really loved it. I tell you what I really liked about Chorus. Again, let me know whether you've played it or not. I'm not a great, air combat flying fan. Yeah. I don't like flying games. As anyone who's seen me attempt to use the wingsuit in Riders Republic, in Riders Republic, can testify. It's like, no, like bicycles, snowboards, yes, yes, yes. Wingsuit, no, 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 no. But Chorus, oh my God. It plays, see that little twist? You don't have to do that little twist. It does it for you. It steers. As I say, as Lloyd said, it's like a third person shooter sort of thing here. It's just flies beautifully, doesn't make you kind of travel sick or anything like that. So this first look I did here was exclusive to channel members. Another little treat for my channel members. Consider joining down there if you want. So yeah, I did a little first look and I really loved it. And what I really liked to say about it is the music, the soundtrack is really good. It's really atmospheric, cinematic, big, grand, really great soundtrack. Visually, it looks really good as well. Really cool, intriguing story as well. But just the combat, you do feel like you're in sort of a dogfight now and then, but it's not too difficult to master. So there we go. The significant thing, of course, about Chorus was it was game 100 for Stadia in 2021. Yeah. So they promised they would be delivering more than 100 games by the end of 2021. That's what they promised back in January. They said that we would be delivering Over 100 games in 2021. Well, there we go. Chorus is game 100. And as ever in this show, we love to shout out, enough of that chorus, members only. If you want to check out me playing chorus, then join up. Shout out to, of course, InLed, who we always love shouting out. Mr. Data and Mr. Charts. Check this out. Let's go full screen for this one. Look at this. This was the Stadia release map for 2021. There are all 100 titles, right? I would say all the games on Stadia in 2021, but that would be incorrect, as we will come to later, because we've got another game arrived today. There's Chorus behind me. There we are, 100 games. Let me know, are there any in there that really shout out to you? Remember the beginning of the year up here, it goes sort of down the column. So it goes down, January down, February, like that. It goes down across, down and across, if that makes sense. So if we go over here, you should probably see my little mouse there. January, we had Hitman 3, effectively a big AAA. Then you had Madden 21. Yeah. Savage Planet waited 12 months after its initial release. Little Nightmares 2, remember that? Dropped as a Stadia Pro. I'd say it was a AA game rather than a AAA, but it dropped as a double Pro back then. And then we had some of the, these cool Japanese games come here in March. And then Trials of Cold Steel, stuff like that. Rainbow Six Siege in July. Madden 22. FIFA 22. Yes, please. Dirt 5. Lots of people loving Case. Outriders. It was a big moment if the game was a bit buggy or disappointing at the time. But it was important that it came to Stadia, I think, at that time. So, yeah. And then a lot of the back catalogue, Assassin's Creed Rogue, a lot of the Ubisoft back catalogue. Loads of indie titles, of course. Are there any titles on here that you've forgotten about? Ice Age. I've forgotten about Ice Age. Saints Row 3. Then later Saints Row 4. Yeah, Control. Lots of great games. A few exclusive, Stadia exclusive, like Pixel Junk Raiders, all those things. A real diverse, exactly, Bayram says. Very diverse. Exactly. Something for everybody there. Something for everybody. Let me know what what titles sort of sprung out for you, what titles you particularly kind of pleased to see, and all those things. But yeah, lots of great titles there. Really good to see. And thank you, InLed, for a great chart. That's a great chart. It's like a giant advent calendar, but it's the whole year. So yeah, you were getting, if you look at this, actually looking at it, in January, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in January, 9 in February, 16 in April. Wowza. Yeah, the thing about Stadia, there are no games. Like, they're dropping them quite regular. I mean, the fallow month here was May with only 3 games. June had 4. July had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. August had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So May was the disappointing month, really, in terms of number of titles. Wow. December, we only 2. So if you look at that pattern, if you look at October, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. November, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wreckfest. Oh, yeah. And then, sorry, 4 in December already. So even on that, I cannot believe December will only be 4 titles. Well, as we already know, it's not. It's already 5 titles. And by Friday, it will be 6 titles, won't it? So we know that. Will it, Clive? Yes, it will. What are the titles then, Clive? You seem to know so much about it. Well, so one of them is, again, who saw this coming? Who saw this coming? I think we need the... Oh, let me... Oh, let's just right there, put the properties on.
Small case. We'll wrap it up in no time.
What kind of case?
The kind of case where if you come with me right
Chicken
now,
police.
you're not on duty anymore.
What a pleasant surprise.
Paint it
You
red.
roast the coppers in person.
Clucking hell. Get yourself
Why, you
together,
dirty
bird.
rat. Literally, not figuratively.
Hey,
Literally a
is
dirty
that how
rat.
you greet two
Why,
old
you dirty
friends?
fox.
Hey, I'm not
There it
joking,
is, you
Sonny.
dirty mouse,
I got a
you dirty
shotgun under the
pigeon.
bar.
Dirty
Whatever
fox.
happens, never fall in
Yeah,
love with
a
that
detective
woman.
game in a sort of bizarre black and white animal heads type thing. Now, that lady cat was having
That's
Jessica Rabbit
exactly what I
moments.
was thinking. You see,
Is that
what
wrong?
the hell could have
Am I
happened
wrong?
here?
I don't know. Anyway, so this is from Handy Games, ladies and gentlemen. From Handy Games. Yeah, is it wrong to like a foxy lady? A lady fox? I don't know. I think Lord Kensal is going to be playing this tomorrow if you're into sort of detective games and that sort of thing, but real kind of stylized. I'm really curious about it. Really curious. Anyway, that was announced by, as I said, by Handy Games. Now, it's interesting about Handy Games because they also made another game announcement and they mentioned it was coming to Stadia. And then they retracted it. Here is a detective story, ladies and gentlemen, of our own. Who needs Chicken Police Paint It Red? When there's a detective story going on here. So, if I just find that. Yeah, so here they go. They announced Scarf, which looks like a beautiful game. It looks like that game from Tequila Works that I really loved. It's not a Stadia game. Made me cry. The game is so beautiful. Anyway, it's got that kind of look. The guy in there had a sort of scarf that was a fox kind of thing. Anyway, they announced Scarf coming to all platforms. They've deleted the video, but it had the Stadia logo on it, along with the other platforms and stuff. I'm trying to find the original tweet. I think they deleted it. I had it. Where was it? Anyway, they announced it, and then they quickly withdrew it, saying Scarf, the game Scarf, is not going to release on Stadia. Yeah, so it's not going to release on Stadia. Let's just find... just give you an idea what it looks like. Okay, here's a little announcement video. I'll give you an idea. From THQ Nordic, Uprising Studios. So it's got that real, as I say, a very similar look to, and I can't remember now, it was a game about loss and death on by Tequila Works. But, you know, a bit cel-shaded look. It's got that style. Really beautiful. And it's called Scarf. You can see the scarf there. Obviously, the scarf can turn into different things and do things. By the looks of things there. Yeah, so they made this grand announcement and it was coming to Stadia. It was part of that, was on the credits and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then they had to quickly withdraw it, which makes you question, like, this is not just a simple mistake because it had the Stadia graphics on it. Yeah, the Stadia logo. I think as Sunny Cloud mentioned, you don't go through all that effort of putting a logo on if it's wrong. Somebody would have picked it up, right? So more than likely it is coming to Stadia, but just not quite yet. So they posted this tweet anyway, very soon afterwards. Oh, we made a mistake. Attention, we made a mistake. And it's good they came out straight away with it. Scarf is not going to release on Stadia on December the 23rd. The release date only applies, so look at the language they're using here. The release date only applies to PC platforms. We apologize for this, but we can promise some awesome news on Stadia. So the automatic assumption was, oh, they're going to announce this is going to be a pro game in January, or they weren't allowed to announce Scarf was coming to Stadia until Monday for whatever reason. Yeah, whatever reason. It's interesting because, and I'm trying to find it here, John Scars commented when they first published the tweet that it was coming to Stadia. And I can't find it here. Let me just see if I can find it here. And they said, so John Scars tweeted something out like, oh, I'm looking forward to this game arriving on Stadia. This is before they withdrew their statement. And then they said, yeah, we hope the community loves it, talking about the Stadia community. And then they withdrew it. Is this the John Scars? Yes. So John Scars came out of the door really quickly with this when they first announced it. Scarf, a 3D single-player adventure platform, is coming December the 23rd to Stadia. So this was following Handy Games' announcement. And there was a trailer. This trailer, if I click on this, video unavailable now. Yeah, they took the video off. And then they did respond to him going, yeah, here, this looks great, says Taylor Gowan. This looks great. I hope the Stadia news is good news. And they said, oh, we're confident the Stadia community will like it. And then later they withdrew it, which was a bit unfortunate. So I have a feeling that it is going to come to Stadia, but just not quite yet. But the interesting thing is, a few days prior to that announcement, Handy Games hinted at some news. And it was this. So John knew. So John Scar obviously gets the press releases from Stadia. So sometimes he knows a little bit ahead of time what's coming. And this was on the 1st of December, right? There was rumor of a game announcement on the 1st of December. And a free game weekend, which we know about coming up. And then Handy Games tweeted there, this is back on the 30th of November. You think that's all? Oh, yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh, my apologies. So John Scars tweeted out, there's going to be a game announcement on the 1st of December. I put a little piece about here. Check out the blog post about the Stadia Pro games and new game announcements coming, and test a free game weekend. So this was basically sharing the blog post about the pro titles and new games coming to Stadia. And then Handy Games posted this going, you think that's all? So it was like, oh, what could it be? What could it be? And then 2 or 3 days later, they published the video of Scarf game saying it's coming to Stadia. So immediately I thought, that's the game they're talking about. Or was it? Or was it the chicken police paint it red. Your Handy Games confusing us all. So it's all a bit of a mystery, isn't it? It's all a bit of a weird mystery. But my gut feeling is that Scarf will be coming to Stadia. But what we do know is the Chicken Police is coming to Stadia. In fact, what am I talking about? Chicken Police is already on Stadia right now, right here. So now that's 101 games. Yeah, 101 games coming to Twitter. Yeah. And then, talking of Handy Games, shout out to Vivi Plays. Somebody asked them, I think, in the Reddit, recognized by the, or Discord. Reddit. That looks like Reddit picture. Okay, so I'll share it here. Somebody asked, I think, Handy Games Official, was it, difficult porting to Stadia or whatever, something like that. And they put here, it did take quite some time to port, but that's not all down to the porting process alone. First, we need to make sure that everyone is on board. Then we need to put together a team who will work on the port. Then comes the port itself, which is always different. Generally, I would say the challenges of porting are often underestimated, but it's not more or less difficult. This is Vivi Plays underscoring here, just to emphasize the point. But it is not more or less difficult to port to Stadia than to other platforms. If anything, the biggest challenge that is exclusive to Stadia is that we need to support all sorts of display formats and make everything legible and look good on small and big screens. So that's the writing. So if you, for instance, take the Chicken Police, there's a lot of writing in that. So it's got to be legible on a giant 40-inch LG C1. Yeah, I got the TV mentioned. LG C1. And equally legible on your Pixel 4, 5, or 6, or whatever. Yeah? So those are the things they need to think about. But then they go here. However, since we'd already had a PC, console, and mobile versions of Chicken Police, the UI was basically ready to go. So basically they're saying it took long, wasn't easy, but we think it's worth it. But the reason it wasn't easy isn't because it's Stadia, right? It's just like every port has its own issues and problems, and Stadia is just another place you need to port to. But it's just interesting to see that from Handy Games. Anyway, so shout out to Vivi Plays who shared that. Anyway. And talking of games this week, of course, we get 9 to 5 arrives on the 8th. Is it the 8th? Or is it Friday? I can't remember. Anyway, we're about to find out, ladies and gentlemen, because 9 to 5, 9 to 5, the game, I published a roadmap. 8th of December, Wednesday. So remember, this is free to play, 9 to 5, FPS, competitive PvP shooter, a sort of a poor man's Rainbow Six Siege, if that's not too disingenuous. Early access on December, controller support coming to Stadia and Steam on the 8th of December. Then update on the 13th. More update late June, and then early March, lots more updates. So they've provided a little roadmap for winter 2022 for 9 to 5. So that's good to see. So that will be game 102 on Stadia already this week, and that's coming on Wednesday. So looking forward to that. That's going to be good. Free to play, of course. Remember, cross-platform, all of that. So it's going to be great to jump into. And play that if you're into your PvP, FPS type competitive shooters. More updates. So that's 2021. We've got updates about games coming in 2022. And interesting ones as well. So obviously Sky Climbers. As we all know, Sky Climbers was a crowd-funded game. Majority perhaps crowd-funded by the Stadia community. And they've got an alpha launch of Sky Climbers on the 22nd of March. Yeah. Now, the interesting thing about this, somebody asked about would the alpha launch be available to Stadia players. And they shared here in this blog post. So we're excited to announce the official alpha release date, 22nd of March. And then Lord Vivek says here, is that PC, right? Because that's how he talks. PC, right? No. is that PC, right? And Sky Climber goes, yes, but we also have exciting news about Stadia Alpha, which will be released through a new feature called Stadia Channels. Ladies and gentlemen, Stadia Channels. So Stadia Channels is something that was talked about in the Stadia development blog. Yeah, the engineers did an essay on it. I'll just go to it. Back in here, if you remember, there was this article published here on the 1st of November, channels using the cloud to scale production playtest and closed betas. So this was about, in one case study, a developer wanted to run a 500 user player test. And so they were creating these channels to allow people to do, developers to do play testing, alpha testing, beta testing in a kind of a private enclosed space. And we already knew that they'd started doing this because I think there was an alpha version of Hello Engineer. But this announcement by the Sky Climber team is, I think, the first announcement of Stadia channels in the wild, as it were. It's the first time we've sort of seen it announced externally other than that developer blog, or to see it in action. So that's interesting that hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of the, test out the alpha version using these Stadia channels as like a private enclosed Stadia space to test the game and give feedback. You probably have to sign NDAs and all that kind of stuff to do it. But exciting to see that from Sky Climbers. And that alpha coming out, as I said, the 22nd of March, ladies and gentlemen, 22nd of March. So that's really cool. And also there's an update, ladies and gentlemen, for Spiritfarer, fans of Spiritfarer. There's an update. New DLC coming to the Spiritfarer. I never did get around to playing this game. But brand new content coming to this game. I know quite a lot of people liked this game, found it really kind of relaxing and peaceful and that kind of stuff. And, a good game. Wow, that's psychedelic, man. But yeah. The Jackie and Daria update trailer. And it is coming to Stadia as well. Is it going to say it there? Yeah, there we go. Freeze frame. Update coming to Stadia December the 13th. So next week, the Jackie and Daria update coming to Stadia next week. That's Spiritfarer. So there you go. And then finally, Rainbow Six Extraction, another game coming in 2022. Another game. Now, you remember that Ubisoft originally announced Rainbow Six Extraction, and they said it would, and they gave it a title. It was available for pre-order as well on many platforms, including Stadia. And I think in the UK, it was at like $59 or something like that. And wowza, talking of $59, shout out Consignio. Oh, that little love. Much love, sir. Oh, my God. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. That's so appreciated. Round of applause. Consignio. What a shout out. What? Wow. There it goes. Yeah, man, thank you. Really, really appreciate that. Awesome. Awesome. Anyway, Rainbow Six Extraction. So they originally announced it was going to come out at a premium price, I think about $59.99 or something like that for the base version. And a few people complained about different things. And then they came back and they said, we've had a rethink, we've changed some things about, and we're going to lower the price overall. And shout out here to Marcus G Knight, Soul Home Studio, who's in the chat. Hello, Marcus. Soul Home Studio. Hello. It seems it's been updated on the store. The price adjustment by Ubisoft that they announced has now been implemented. And it's now on the store. The base price here is $44.99. I think originally it was $59.99 for the base one. Something like that. It was quite expensive. Like, wow, it was like a typical AAA entry level price for the base. But anyway, the base level now is $44.99. So that's just Ubisoft coming good on their promise to reduce the price. It's coming out. I forget when it's coming out. It's like beginning of early January, if I seem to remember. That's coming out. But anyway, that price has been updated. Oh, the beautiful Yoshida's in the house. Lovely to see her. Konbanwa. Yokoso. Hi. Oh, I can write the word now. My brain's gone dead now. Anyway. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. That, ladies and gentlemen, is most of the news. Time for the chat. No, not that. Time for the chat. And we're going to keep Consignio's wonderful, wonderful, really appreciated. That is going on a game. I can tell you that. That is going on a game. Thank you so much, Consignio. Really, really appreciated. Unbelievable. Let's see what you guys have been chatting about while I've been waffling on all the news. James Adams has been enjoying Chorus. It is a good game. It is a good game. Maybe, yeah. Maybe I'll put towards Chorus because I refunded it because I wasn't sure I was going to play it because I've got such a backlog. So I tried it, even though I love it. But yeah, another one for Chorus, another one for Chorus there. PlayCloud, Caseball for Chorus. Wow. Mr. Bayram Plays is super happy about Dynasty Warriors 9. Empires. Chicken Police, paint it red. Boom. Say what you see. Yeah, that's right. Say what you see. Say what you see. That's a little TV show reference there for the UK fans. Just say what you see. Say what you see. Good evening. That's not an impression of Duncan. This used to be the presenter who presented that show. Just say what you say. Good evening, Two Bag. Lovely to see you. Cyborg, he love it. I bought it. I love it. I brought it. I love it. Presumably Chorus. Wow. Two Bag's been finished. Busy. Yeah, I don't think Attack on Titan, Mr. Bayram, I think who's going to buy it? You have to be a super fan to buy Attack on Titan. It's been about 60 quid. I don't think it's ever been on sale. I don't even know what format the game is in. Attack on Titan. I love the show, want the game, but it needs to go on sale. Yeah, well, Attack on Titan, definitely. Yeah, price too high. Hello, Lukey6. Konbanwa, Yoshida. Yeah, it's like a countdown. It is. Jackbox Party 8. Jackbox Party 7. Yeah. Dynasty Warriors 9. Rainbow Six, yeah. Never played Dynasty game before. Looks different for sure. It sure does. I hope it's not turn-based, though. I think it's got a bit of everything. I mean, I think by looking at it, because there looks some combat stuff in it. I don't know. Does anybody know if it's turn-based? It looks like it's got combat in it, like action combat, Plus it's strategy, politics, everything. Dynasty Warriors Empires is much more in depth. Thank you, Winstar. I have a question. Do you think... So, yes. A yearly awards thing. Yeah, I think on this subject, and I have suggested, and it might happen, maybe you've got time, that we should just have a Stadia community game awards. Personally, that's what, you know, so like an end of year review show, but you know, we'll make it simple. My vision is you make it simple as well. You split all the games into different categories, the different genres. Everybody just votes on it. You know, put a poll for every game. Put a poll on Reddit, on Twitter, on if anybody's, you know, has Facebook access and is a boomer, put it on them to keep the boomers happy. All of that, yeah. And you just get everybody in the community to vote. Yeah, we'll just find some software, some voting software, online software, easy to do. Set it up, collate all the figures, and then just do a show at the end of the year that says winner of first person shooter is X, best indie game is Y. Just voted on by the community. That's it. You know, and obviously if I presented it, I'd razz it up, jazz it up a bit, you know, but just keep it nice and simple. And then an overall game of the year. You don't need loads of different categories. Moment of the year, you know, best jump left game of the year, best content creator rubbish. None of that. You don't need any of that. Just the games. Yeah, just the games. That's personally what I would do. So good shout out, Colt. Play Cloud. Yeah, give me some thumbs up, man. Which one? Price at 35 quid-ish. Is that for the Dynasty? If it was 35 quid. Given the porting and it's a Japanese game and exchange rate and all those factors, I think it might be a little bit more expensive. But definitely if it's 35, because it's not that... It's not an old game. An old game. I can see playing it, especially if it comes to Pro, because it's not something I'd normally play. But as with previous Pro... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Pro is great for discovering games. Crow, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, bud. Super. I introduced a friend, says Randy B, who has a PS5. He took advantage of the Premier Edition sale and he's very impressed. Well, we've seen a lot of anecdotal references to this in the Reddit and stuff like that, and on Twitter, people going, wow, this is really amazing, isn't it? The irony is, and no disrespect for these people, often the people like praise about it, and then I check out how many Twitter followers they got. So I want to see what impact their statement that they have just discovered Stadia and it's amazing. And then you say, oh, Twitter followers, they've got 40 or 50. No problem in that. But I'm just thinking, oh, that's a shame. And then I saw one guy from Android Police go, is it me? So a journalist from Android Police today go, is it me or is... have Stadia reduced the quality or whatever because I'm having loads of problems? And I wanted to tweet back, yeah, it's you. Because I've not seen anybody else say there's been an issue. And then I check how many Twitter followers he's got, and he's got like 150,000 Twitter followers. So you've got all these people with like collectively, you know, with 40 Twitter followers here, 50 to 100 Twitter going, oh, Stadia's great. Stadia's fab. I love Stadia. Then one guy with 150,000 go, is it me or has Stadia got worse? I think that was the tweet. And you just think, yeah, it's you. But now you've gone and made a statement that you should have, do you know what I mean? Just needed more qualification. It's just very frustrating. Very frustrating. We've got to just promote and get out people who discover it and have a great experience. But it's just that they never seem to be opinion leaders. That's what you need. You need, you know, for just from a marketing point of view, obviously, you know, I want people to enjoy Stadia. I don't care how many Twitter followers they've got. But from a marketing point of view, when I've got my branding and marketing hat on, I'm thinking you want a big opinion leader to come out and go, you know, genuinely, not because they've been paid to say it or the shilling or anything like that. They just go, wow, I'd heard so much bad things about Stadia, but I just got Premier Edition gifted to me by a friend, or I bought it in the sale, and it was amazing. And then you look at their Twitter following, and they've got 200,000 people, and you think, yes, impact, opinion leaders. Anyway, once you've tasted this sweet ambrosia, that's it. The sweet ambrosia. Yeah, literally link. How sick is that? As opposed to 120. Yeah, it loads 120 gigs of game. Exactly. That is the USP of Stadia for when it comes to free games. Oh, I'm in the mood to play that. Click, download. Hour later, 2 hours later, depending on your internet, I'm not in the mood anymore. Stadia, click. Oh, I'm in the mood to play that. I'll give it a go. Click. Oh, I'm playing it. Like, that's what it's like, man. Unbelievable. Play it daily. I should play it more. Maybe we get into a squad. That's what we need. I need somebody to carry me, though. Yeah. Hey, Cloud Gaming Dad. I missed him. There he is. Ah, there we go. Sorry, CGD. I think CGD is a much better name than Cloud Gaming Dad. We'll just call you CGD. It's got kind of, hey, CGD, how you doing, man? Let's stick with that. I play against PC players and win a lot. Yeah, I lose, but my kills. So it's about learning how to play. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. People just assume that the people who are playing are all of the same standard. It's not necessarily the machine. As many people who play in Stadia community play, Destiny are really, really good. And they'll wipe the floor with anybody. Doesn't matter what they're playing on. So it's a combination of what the platform and the person playing. So it's a bit of a misnomer to sort of say, oh, it's an unfair advantage. Well, no, if you've got a £5,000 gaming PC and you're just crap at FPS games, you're going to get slaughtered by somebody who's really good at FPS games and is on Stadia, because the difference anyway is negligible. Unless you're Tom Warren. Oh, no need for that. Played it, shared it, on board with it, loving it. Siege is life. Yeah. Hey, Jerry, how are you? Get them on without Stadia Pro and you feed them little toast message pop-ups in the browser, often extolling the virtues of Gaming Pro. Yeah. Exactly. Well, it's about getting people into the environment, yeah? Get them to play Rainbow Six Siege and then they'll start going, what else is here? Oh, what else is here? You're more likely to, well, I might give that Pro a trial. If it's free for a month, I'll just cancel it. Right? Because you're in. You're more likely to do that if you've played Rainbow Six Siege for free and the only thing you needed to put is a Gmail in. Then you're hooked. You might be curious what else they've got. You might look at Destiny or something like that. But then you might look at the pro titles and go, wow, there's over 40 pro titles. Oh, that title looks interesting. That I might get, well, it's not going to cost me anything. I can always cancel. And you're more likely to do that if you already sort of entered the door. Yeah? It's like a taster, isn't it? So here's a sample, a small version of it, but you have to pay for it, but you can taste it. As opposed to sort of, actually, here's a free sample of it. Would you now like to buy one at a discounted price? Oh, yes, please. To the mean, once you just fish them in, reel them in. That's what you need to do. Yeah. Anyway, do you think this is what the channel features aim at? I do. It's exactly what it's aiming at. It's exactly what they said. It was one of the things that the channels could do, that they could say to developers, if you want to test a game, not just, if you want to test the game within your own company, we can set up, you can use Stadia, not just for Stadia games, but for any games to test it in a sort of safe environment. If you want to widen that test out to special invited guests beyond your Q&A team, yeah, for an alpha or pre-alpha. I talked about Sea of Thieves had a pre-alpha, an insiders sort of version. So you can sort of do that And the Sky Climbers example of an alpha being on the Stadia channel is the first, I think, the real first public announcement of something like that. Although I think Hello Engineer did do a pre-alpha, probably used it, but it wasn't, people weren't necessarily aware of the title Stadia channels. But yeah, it's one of the things that they talked about. I really hope is EA Play to link. Yeah, that would be good. But I think yeah, it would be good. It would be good. It would put them on a par, wouldn't it, with Xbox Games Pass? Because obviously they have that. But I think, yeah, they may be tightly bound in the Xbox Games Pass deal. I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, I currently have a Pro and Ubi Plus, and it would come to a good deal, less than I'd spend on a console. I think they bundle it would be a nice. I'd pay for both 10 plus 15. Yeah, but I reckon if Google subsidized it, they could make the Pro offer still seem really reasonable. I think it's reasonable at 8-9 quid anyway. But like, even if it was 11-12 quid, and you bundled in Pro, I mean, you bundled in Ubisoft Plus. Wow. And I reckon it would cost Google $10 to $20 million a year. Worth it. I reckon it's worth it. Yeah, it would be. EA Play, of course. And anything like that. It's exactly what they do. Except the thing about EA Games Pass or EA Play is they don't always have big. They don't have big. They have a lot of old titles. I mean, Ubisoft have back catalogue titles, but they don't necessarily bring their AAA games a day and date to EA Play. You know, you can play FIFA 19 on EA Play, but I don't think you can play FIFA 22 on EA Play. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think you can. Whereas with Ubisoft Plus, the impact of, you know, Assassin's Creed Avatar, right? The impact of Avatar arriving day and date included in your Pro title in at the end of 2022. Imagine that. Yeah. Rainbow Six Extraction. Yeah. Imagine if it was part of Pro. Basically, you'd be getting that in January for your 10 quid a month, 12 quid a month. Would that be worth it? Yeah. Easy. Easy. No, I think the Stadia sub would have to go up slightly. Yeah, I don't think Stadia could fully subsidize the whole gap, because what you're taking away basically is all the Ubisoft, all the Stadia players who have an Ubisoft subscription. So they'd have to subsidize that, and part of the paying for that would be a slight increase, which would be worth it because the value would still be there, a slight increase in Stadia Pro. And I think people would still see real value. I mean that is real value if you got Ubisoft titles in Stadia Pro, even at 12 quid or 15 quid, $15 for Stadia Pro, say $15 for Stadia Pro, and it included Ubisoft Plus, I think would still be incredible value. That way they're halfway almost to sort of paying for Stadia for Ubisoft Plus, and they would just have to subsidize the rest. And as I said, they get a discounted deal. You're probably going to end up paying $10, $20 million, I don't know, on my top of my head, a year to do that. And I think that would be worth it. Yeah, Ubisoft would swallow Stadia would swallow the cost, and the cost would be balanced off by them swallowing it, using marketing budget. I would take some of the marketing budget, because you spend millions on marketing and you just write it off. So if you just factor that in and say, okay, we're going to take some of that marketing money because it's a marketing exercise, put that in there, raise the Stadia Pro slightly, but still maintain real value. So that offsets some of that. And then you subsidize the rest as a loss leader to get people in. Yeah. And that's a good question, Preston. I think, is it ready for mass adoption? I think a deal like that is about timing. It's a bit chicken and egg, isn't it? Talking of chicken police. Do they do that and then you get mass adoption? Or do they wait until mass adoption is starting to occur and then they offer that to put rocket fuel into that mass adoption? Do they wait until it's on more TVs or, all that kind of stuff? So there we go. Ubisoft going F2P with now their franchise, apart from Backhog. Will there be any value in Ubisoft Plus? Well, yeah, but they still bring out popular games, don't they? And it's the regularity. That's what I like about Ubisoft. They bring out a variety of games, Riders Republic, all that kind of stuff, and equally, as you say, the free to play model, but also the option to monetize their games. They can only in terms of selling skins and stuff like that. They can only do that if people are playing the games. So if you make the games more accessible, once people are in, they'll spend more money, which is a sort of a halfway house between the free to play model and, those companies that sell you a game and then sell you loads of skins afterwards. Yeah. So you want people playing a game to be able to monetize it. So that's another upside for Ubisoft. Yeah. Because there's loads of Stadia players who don't have an Ubisoft Plus account. So you would be introducing the Ubisoft games to more people than already have that and Stadia. So there's upside to Ubisoft as well. This is my theory. I should do a whole deck on it to Ubisoft and Stadia. They dropped a lot of games people don't realize. Is that in the 100 lot? Yeah. Jessica Rabbit was my first TV crush. It is a moment for a young adolescent boy. Yeah. I think he learns about shapes. Yeah. Like a car. Beautiful car. I was objectifying women. No, I was objectifying a cartoon rabbit. And they do make some really interesting games. They do. Rhyme. Thank you. That's the game. Yeah. So that scarf game reminded me of Tequila Works Rhyme, which I played on Xbox. I think it was an Xbox Gold game a few years ago, and it made me cry. It was Rhyme I was talking about. The Spiritfarer DLC I was talking about, but yeah, it was Rhyme. Game made me cry. But equally, like Spiritfarer, it's about death and loss. No spoilers, but that's what it's about. Yeah, they don't even go to all that effort of putting a logo on it when it is coming to Stadia. Lol. Yeah, exactly. Very funny. Yeah. Randy B, I'm going to be honest. In my opinion, I went back and looked at Threater. I don't think we're going to see it in December. I still have my doubts about it, whether it got funded enough, whether it got the approvals it needed. I've not seen anything on their social media pages. I've not seen anything updated on their website for a long time. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to get Threater anytime soon, if I'm brutally honest. I'm going to say Stadia. I mean, anybody. Yeah, I'm not just saying Stadia. I don't think any platform's getting Threater anytime soon, personally, just based on the initial research I've done. Yes. Well, we did get a Christmas game last year, didn't we? Oh, yeah. Stadia channels. Yeah, no, I think it's that combination of using the tech. Is that white labeling, Clive? No, that's not white labeling. Using the tech and offering the tech to developers and publishers, because the channels aren't just for Stadia games. As I said, they're potentially for any game, but just giving them an environment in the cloud to test the game with players in an easy way. You don't have to send out, codes or anything like that. You could set up a Stadia channel, set up your game, whatever it is, and then just send out a link. It doesn't have to be Stadia branded or anything like that. So, you know, it's a tool that developers and publishers could use even if the game's not coming to Stadia. But obviously it helps, you know, introduce the developer and publishers to Stadia. But that's one of the tools they're using. Another shout out to Consignio, who is an amazing person. Thank you for that. 9 to 5 might be the next Rainbow Six or even COD. You never know. Yeah, it's had a mixed reviews on Steam, but maybe Stadia, it becomes, maybe we could adopt it. There's an idea. Stadia community. Maybe we should adopt 9 to 5 as our game, you know, our free-to-play game. Then we invite friends and non-Stadia players. Come and play. It's free to play. Here's a link. And we make it our game. We make it the Stadia game, you know, because it didn't do that. You know, it's not been received that well, I think, on Steam and PC, but it's only an alpha stage, as we've seen. It's going to develop, but we'll see. He did indeed. Shout out to Consignio. What an awesome guy. Oh, Jeremy, you always miss stuff if you don't come at the beginning, so just catch up with it. That's all we need. Core's been really good. Yeah, I never, Jeremy, I never expected to like a space shooter either. Well, Ray, but well, of course. What a stupid question. Has anybody bought Attack on Titan? What? I didn't think that through, did I, Ray? You would have bought Attack on Titan. Of course you do. You buy everything, Ray. He loves it anyway. He loves it. That's the good thing. A Google form. Yeah. I looked at a few things. Maybe a Google form would be the easy one. There's some really fancy online software things for voting, and you put in pictures and stuff like that. It just helps. If it's good, it helps people vote properly, if that makes sense. Wow, yeah, imagine that. Google should have acquired Roblox. That would have been interesting. I've never seen anybody... Not sure I totally agree with it, but I think it's a really interesting idea. Yeah. Although there's a quality threshold question on Roblox. There are lots of reasons why that wouldn't work, but I love just I've never thought about that before. Sorry, Biz. I've never thought about that before. This is a really interesting idea. Never thought that. My brother picked up Premier Edition, 20 quid, shared my library with him. Boom, 150 games instantly. Exactly. Normally lands around May. Admit the Stadia actually works. Impressive. Yeah, I think Threat is definitely getting... I'm not even sure they're near finishing it. Normally you see updates on blog posts and stuff like that, don't you? And I've just not seen anything, because I was aware people, you know, that their date was pending. And so like about 3 weeks ago, I did research and looked at it. Couldn't see anything about it, any update for a while. It could be COVID, could be lots of things. So yeah, definitely. Have a good night, CGD. Yeah. You need a smart light like I reviewed last year, and I set up all my Christmas decorations to come on with me just going, okay, G, happy Christmas or whatever. And then everything came on, even my virtual log fire on the TV. Yeah. Stage is already being mentioned in the game. Is it really? Is it only being mentioned by Stadia people going, oh, Phil Harrison's on the board? Or is it actually being mentioned in other ways? Because to me, that doesn't count. Yeah, because Phil Harrison's on the board, so I hope Stadia get a mention. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get a mention, you know. There we go. Anyway, what a show, ladies and gentlemen. What a show. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, as ever, thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for letting me share my ideas with you. Thank you for your amazing ideas. Massive thank to use my right hand. Consignio. There's a delay there for the $50 super chat. Wowza, wowza, wowza. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much. Much love. Really appreciate it. Very nice of you. Everybody else have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Rest of the week. Lord Kensal will be playing Chicken Police, Paint It Red. Chicken Police, Paint It Red. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. UK time. Make sure you watch that. And I hope you enjoy 9 to 5 when it comes out later in the week as well. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. A wonderful, wonderful week. I shall see you out. And let's all come back here, same time, same place, next week. Goodbye.